final week of the ACC regular season brings us to Chapel Hill and Carmichael Arena, where tonight the ACC regular season title is on the line. Fifth-ranked North Carolina State looks to clinch at least a share of the ACC regular season crown, while North Carolina relishes the role of the spoiler tonight. They hope to send out their seniors with a night to remember. Three teams battling for the top spot: NC State, Virginia Tech, and Pitt all control their own destiny. Virginia Tech hosting Virginia tonight. Pitt will close out the season tomorrow, senior day for the Panthers against Duke. And a pleasant good evening. Sean Kinney alongside former UVA wrestler, 10-year Division I official Rock Harrison. Great to have you with us, Rock. I'll tell you what, we just saw the three schools battling for ACC supremacy. The wealth of power has expanded this year.
It shows that it's a lot of parity in the ACC. And if the three teams do what they're supposed to do this weekend, we could have a three-way tie for the dual meet title and a great weekend for the ACC championships.
Lots of great matchups tonight, but none bigger than at 157, where Austin O'Connor, ranked number 2 in the country, has simply destroyed anyone who has tried to slow him down.
He's been a man on a mission, just dominating his opponents, major decisions all across the board, and he had a great win last weekend against Bryce Andonian, but he has a tough one this weekend with Ed Scott.
O'Connor 15-0 this year, 14 of those wins via the bonus points. Ed Scott maybe has wrestled one of the most difficult schedules in the country. He comes in 13-6. He beat O'Connor last year in the ACC championships. So many personalities, so many stars on both of these rosters. O'Connor headlining UNC, while for NC State, boy, they ride the shoulders of Big Trent Hidley. The rivalry renewed tonight in Chapel Hill. Senior night here in Chapel Hill, North Carolina, NC State. Another chapter gets added in this long wrestling rivalry. Friday night duels taking us to Chapel Hill tonight. North Carolina 6-8 this year, 2-2 in the ACC, and we start at 141, and it's a good one. Ryan Jack, a top 10 matchup. Jack, the sophomore, saw his 10-match win streak snap last week against Pitt. He looks to bounce back against the talented freshman from Toronto, Lachlan McNeil, 19-5 this year, ranked 9th.
What a way to start off this duel. Top 10 battle.
141 and we're underway. Jack, the sophomore, Danbury, Connecticut. Lachlan McNeil from Toronto, Ontario, Wyoming Seminary. First on the scene this year, getting his first true set of reps this year. He has delivered for head coach Coleman Scott and company.
It's going to be a little contrast to styles because Jack usually likes to shoot a lot, and certainly Lachlan McNeil likes to sit to the corner. And if you don't put your head in the right position, he'll slap a cradle on you. Lachlan said he's not necessarily the most athletic, but he just enjoys wrestling. Watches wrestling, all types, freestyle, folk style. He just enjoys the sport.
Contrasting styles, as you talked about, but one common denominator, and that is the ACC loss. As you see some offense from Jack into that double leg, and he will pump McNeil right down on his backside for 2.
That's exactly how you do it. You've got to finish quickly on someone that sits to the corner. And Jack got in. He did a little high C and immediately went to a double. As you can see, Lachlan was trying to sit to the corner, but it's hard to scramble when someone has 2 legs.
Quick point for McNeil, and it's 2-1. A little more than a minute into this first period. Right back to that high C for Jack. So that's twice he's been in on Lachlan McNeil. 2 shots, 2 takedowns.
Once again, he had the high C, and he immediately brought the arm out for a double. And at that point, Lachlan McNeil couldn't sit to the corner. Really good start for Ryan Jack.
So an early trend here is that Jack not wanting really to mess around riding. He wants to take this thing on the feet, and so far so good for the 18-2 wrestler this year for NC State.
I guess what we're going to see is Lachlan. Oh, he did a good shot right to the heel. I was trying to lift it up. Good defense. Oh, right back in. It's good. right back in. He's going to that double. You can see he goes right to the double. Is he around? No control yet. No control. Lackland gives up 3 takedowns in the first period. Fantastic start by Ryan Jack.
Did you see this type of offense on the feet coming, Rock, here in this first period?
No, indeed. Wow. Little shrug, he went to a single, and then immediately he says, I've got to get to the double. You see how he popped his head out and went to the double again, and Lackland could not sit the corner. Ryan Jack is looking sharp.
See if Jack commits to a ride after the previous couple of takedowns, not really committed up top, and the same story here, although he is going to offer a mat return, but really just a pleasantry between these two rivalries there. As he throws him down 6-3. Jack feeling supremely confident right now on his feet, trying to reestablish some territory near the edge. McNeil not letting him get back into the center. You see the control by Lackland McNeil. Good mat presence though by Jack. He's back in on the left leg.
Now it seems like Lackland McNeil's kind of figured it out that I've got to square my hips up. Looks like we're going to end this period. 6-3 Ryan Jack, 3 takedowns. However, Jack had a stall call against him. The neutral out of bounds.
A little bit of a regroup session right now if you're Lackland McNeil. Down 6-3. He's given up 3 takedowns. Uncharacteristic for McNeil from what we've seen this year. 19-5.
I'm surprised that at this point it doesn't appear that Jack is really trying to commit to a ride.
As we go back into the center, a 6-4 lead for Jack, the NCAA qualifier last year. Won a couple of matches in Detroit.
Here's the interesting thing about folk style. Ryan Jack has 3 takedowns. It's only 6-4. McNeil gets 1 takedown. It's a tied match. It just doesn't seem right. But that's how the scoring is. Uh-oh, now not in a great position. Now Jack got to get his hips underneath him, just like that. And there's the crackdown. Go right back to that double. Nothing. He's just being careful, Jack is. Just kind of just wanted to pop it, but Lackland's locked on the other side, and he slipped his legs. Oh, sneaky, sneaky. No control yet. He's going to try to hook the leg. But Lackland's feeling pretty comfortable here. No control yet. Nothing happened yet. Nothing. So you can see that Jack's trying to be very careful here because he doesn't want to get to the position where Lackland passes him through. If I'm Ryan Jack, I'm feeling extremely confident that I can get in, and as soon as I get my high C in, I'm immediately going to a double, meaning getting from going in 1 leg to trying to get 2 legs.
35 seconds to go, period 2. Jack with 3 takedowns. 6-4 lead, shoots from his knees near the edge. He's going to bunker down on the left leg of Lackland McNeil. McNeil trying to free up his leg, reaches across the body, grabs the far side ankle. And we will get a stalemate with just 6 seconds to go. Gary Wade, our lead official tonight. Mike Burns from Laramie, Wyoming. 2 officials working this ACC Friday night duel. Short time amount, 3 seconds down to 2, and it will be Ryan Jack with a 2-point lead. And now see what Jack decides to do, and he's going to go underneath. But for the first time, McNeil gets to operate on top.
Decisions have to be made quickly for Lackland McNeil. And he's going to find out quickly if he's going to try and ride. His riding time isn't making any difference right now in the match. But does Lackland McNeil feel like he can? Nope, he made his decision. He said, okay, I'm going to go on my feet. Now, here it is. Jack does have a stall call. Green stalling. Back in, and this is where Lackland McNeil wants to be. But I tell you what Ryan Jack is doing, he's keeping his hips flat.
McNeil told us he is a fan of this sport. He watches wrestling every day, always looking to improve his craft, and he will spend hours and hours of film watching. Not just him, but wrestlers in folk style, freestyle, Greco-Roman. Just loves the sport. He's going to have to get a little creative to try to find some offense in this third period. He kind of waves at Jack to say, follow me, come back into the center.
Jack is pretty good here. He gets down to that single and locks in. And he's going to hold here for dear life, but then he pops his head to the side. And when he pops his head to the side, he's got to get that arm out to look for a double again. We're about to see if the Lackamino has that offense, if he's going to go and get it. Because quite frankly, Jack just has to wrestle smart at this point. Lackamino hasn't been in but one shot now in the first period. And Jack quickly got out of it. But he's got a circle center. He's got a circle center, and there's a stall call. That's the second one.
Say that. Just as you say it, the stall call ripped on Jack. So McNeil now. A takedown away from tying this one up. Riding time not a factor.
Hey, I love it. Here it is. Coach Popley will say, hey, coach, hey, let's talk about this. I'm telling you, my guy shooting, but hey, he didn't really come to the middle. I agree with that stall call here. But Popley is a first match out the gate. I'm letting you know that I'm going to be on you. I love the jockeying.
What a run it's been for Popolizio. 4 straight ACC championships for the Wolfpack. Just turned the culture around ever since his arrival in Raleigh.
If I'm Jack, I don't need to shoot. I'm just going to try and stay center because Lackamino hasn't shown a real shot yet. Just one shot, and it was for the ankle. Lackamino has to take a shot and create something, and Jack just has to play good defense. Now, short time here. Short time, and what is Lackamino trying to do? Pop a good job by Jack. Reaching across. He's going to go back to that double again. Nothing yet. Good position by Jack, going to hold on. Looks like he's going to get the first win for NC State and look really sharp this match. Really, really sharp. Came out the gate early with his high C's, to his doubles, and just wrestled very economical for the next 2 periods.
When you talk to Popolizio and this Wolfpack wrestling team, one of the leaders that they have talked about time and time again, really stepping up this year, is Ryan Jack. Voted as a captain by his teammates in just his sophomore year, and he continues to shine. 19-2, and he will head into the ACC championships in a couple of weeks in Reynolds Coliseum with some momentum. There's Coleman Scott, new number 7, Olympic bronze medalist, has really battled injuries as far as his roster goes this year. They just haven't been at 100%. They were banged up early in the year. They tried to heal up around the holidays. A couple of more injuries popped up. Just tough to find some rhythm with this very experienced team. Speaking of injuries, we're going to see it right here for North Carolina. A weight normally occupied by the 4-time qualifier Zach Sherman. He is out again tonight. Noticing a shoulder injury, so Will Guida, the redshirt freshman from New Jersey, steps in. Taking on Jackson Arrington, ranked 17th in the country, freshman from Pennsylvania.
Guida is a tough wrestler to wrestle because of his length. He won a couple Fargo junior national titles, so he has some good stuff on his feet, but I tell you what, that's what you call a knee pick blow by. Knee pick, underhook, ran right through Guida. Jackson Arrington good, underhook, and just drives across. Jackson Arrington has been very good with his underhook series. And we see that once he gets there, he doesn't waste time. Oftentimes, people get to the underhook when you get underneath the opponent's armpit, and they just wait. But Jackson got it and ran right through.
A big weight for North Carolina State, replacing the ACC champion and multiple All-American Tariq Wilson. See Guida gives a reply near the edge, and they're going to stop it, potentially dangerous. We go back into the center. Coleman Scott not real happy with that whistle.
So they're arguing, saying that at that point, when you had the single, you got to give my guy a chance to wrestle. Or you can say, hey, there was lost control. My guy was about to work through, but the official said, no, I still felt that Arrington was in control, so that's why Guida is still underneath.
Thigh fry for a moment there from Arrington, trying to hit a roll underneath with Guida. Arrington just continues to swallow up the waist. Now after the scramble, look at the quickness by Guida as he's able to get the reversal and tie it up at 2.
And Guida is pretty tough on top. He kind of mushed them. They don't like each other. NC State, UNC. You saw him push from the back of his head. Oh, I love it. Here's the referee getting in. Hey, fellas, cool out. Come on, it's rivalry. He mushed them. Come on.
Couple of youngsters getting their first taste of this rivalry. Both freshman years. Arrington, true freshman. Guida, the redshirt freshman.
I love it. And the true freshman, Arrington, stopped and looked at him and gave him a look like, all right, you want to go there? I love it. I love it. Not backing down. It's good wrestling.
Guida jumps over to the left side of the body of Arrington. Constant activity underneath from Jackson Arrington. Now a hand fight, trying to rip away at the grip. Gets one hand free, and now he is away. So Arrington with a 3-2 lead. Entertaining first period, 1:13 to go.
Let's see if Arrington goes back to that underhook series. And one of the things that I noticed is that you see that with NC State team, the underhooks. You'll see it in the next match with Ed Scott going to underhooks. Of course, with Trent Hidley, you'll see the underhooks. So they're saying he can't touch his hand. So we got to watch that little sneakiness. That what Guida's doing is pushing down with his right forearm. He can't use that left arm to touch any part of his arm. If he does that, that's a legal hold.
See the left arm of Arrington preventing Guida from circling around. See if Guida changes direction. He'll just continue to cartwheel around the powder blue emblem here on the mat, trying to free up his right hip. Arrington not budging, and we go back to a fresh start. 10 seconds to go in this first period.
And Arrington's had some experience this year wrestling taller wrestlers. I'm talking about John Milner from App State, who's a very tall 149-pounder. So it's not like it's the first time Arrington has wrestled someone that's pretty tall for the weight class.
Arrington, a 3-time Pennsylvania state champion. He finished his Pennsylvania career with 146 wins, 84 falls, part of the powerhouse Forest Hills High School program. He won state his freshman year and then back-to-back in both his junior and senior campaigns. Papalizio knew he had a prized recruit, a next-level recruit, that they were expecting to make an impact right away.
Still in control there for Guida. He's still in control here. Now there's neutral. And what's called a seatbelt position with Arrington having his arm around. And you hear Coleman Scott telling Guida to whiz, meaning continue to keep that in. He's got to hip in. He just can't hold in. He's got to hip in because slowly Arrington is crawling behind. He's getting in a better position. Guida needs to hip in more with that whizzer. Really smart job here by Arrington, working his way up the thigh. He's going to try to link arm, and Guida has to keep that whizzer in. He's got to keep that overhook there. Oh, you can hear it. UNC likes the call of a stalemate, and of course, NC State doesn't like that.
Guida, the Maryland state champion. He was a 2-time Fargo freestyle national champ. His 3rd year with UNC. Wrestler who has really improved over the last couple of years. He went 4-6 his true freshman year back in 2021, and that was that 125. Tries to hit the duck, and he comes around to the side. Beautiful move by Guida.
My goodness. Knee dip, high C. That was clean. Man. Guida's in this match. He's got to keep him down. At this point, it's pretty important that the freshman try his way, but it's tough when you have a long wrestler on top. But he's got to do something to bring the wrestler down to the mat. Arrington was trying to stay up, but I tell you what, Guida is back in this match. Sean, that was crazy good. So look at this. Oh my goodness, that's like John Smith-esque. And the good job is that he ended the period on top.
What do you think? Coleman Scott's taught him that move a time or two over the past few years.
Oh, that did look like his coach. I mean, his coach, Coach Scott, hit that a few times in his career. And then, of course, he learned it from the great John Smith. And it looks like Guida is just picking up on that. So, that leg right there, nothing illegal there. It's going with the natural motion of the knee. So we're going to find out something about the freshman here. Can he keep down Guida? Guida has to worry about if he keeps going to that roll and he gets stopped. When he gets stopped, the top wrestler, Arrington, gets what's called a tight waist around the waist, and it makes it more difficult for him to get up. So Guida has to try and not roll so much and try to stand up. Now look at the length. The length is a problem. 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 Tough call there. Tough call. Tough call. They're talking about it. They're talking about it. Yeah, that's a tough one right there. Remember, control is felt. It is the discretion of the official if I decide that control was established. We got to see, because there's some things I couldn't see from the angle with where the leg was. But it's a judgment call. Was it felt? So we have the problem here. Look, Guida is a long wrestler, and he's going to try and get his left knee that's on the mat right now. He's going to try and cover the other side. Now, the question is, does he feel like he's in control? From that point, you can see that the right arm of Arrington was sealed. So he's going to use that left knee. Watch it pop over. Pop over, and now he's going to try and cover. Judgment call, and I think that's fine. I think that's fine there. That's a tough call.
Rock, this is why you're in the broadcast booth now and not on the mat officiating. 10 years as a Division I official. These are the types of calls that are real tough, ones that certainly can go either way. You can make a case for UNC and NC State with that last exchange.
With that exchange right there, it's if you call it, you have to be confident about it. And the great thing about it is that they have a second official. The second official is saying, this is what I saw. This is what I saw. Let's look at it together. So they're going to look at it. And the question is, was control felt? And the head official, Gary Wade, says, I believe, and here's a good angle here. He's going to take, Guida's going to take that left leg and bring it across the body. Now, at this point, is his hips covering? The question is, are his hips above him? What's the call? The call is
2 points reversal. So Guida goes up 6-4, gets the reversal. 1:13 here in this third period. Guida looking for the upset over 17th ranked Jackson Arrington. Gets a little high here, and Arrington is away.
Arrington needs to go back to that underhook. Here it is. But what Guida's doing this time with the underhook, he's putting his head aside. He drove through. Woo! Man, drove through to a bear hug. Emphatic takedown.
And he's getting back points. Working on the swipes. Gets a couple of swipes. Arrington with some late offense here in the third period.
They got to watch the potentially dangerous. He can't bring that knee out. Ooh. Coleman Scott stepped on the mat. You can't step on the mat there, Coleman Scott. You can't step on the mat. Oh, this is fiery. They want to win. See, that's what happens when you have a guy that rolls a lot. You may get the rolls earlier in the match, but if someone understands that the roll is coming, they can catch you. And Jackson Arrington caught Guida on his back and got the swipes. Now opened it up.
Always under fire for Jackson Arrington. Huida with momentum following the long review, and Arrington not wasting any time. The takedown and then the two near fall. Huida, who has hit these rolls, and time Arrington nearly caught him. 25 seconds to go. Arrington trying to ride this one to victory and make NC State 2 for 2 early on tonight. And he's in a good position to do just that. Huida broken down underneath. Arrington looks over at the clock, and a third period rally for the freshman Jackson Arrington. And NC State wins another here at 149.
Good job by the freshman. Coming through that adverse situation, came back with the takedown and a really solid ride after the takedown. UNC, NC State, they don't like each other. They're rushing like they don't. Great win by the freshman with a slam with authority. UNC, NC State, Friday night duels. Defensive fall.
Reynolds Coliseum in Raleigh in a few weeks, the ACC Wrestling Championship. And will tonight's match be a precursor of what to expect for an ACC title? 157, our featured matchup. Ed Scott, 13-6 this year, ranked 7th, taking on Austin O'Connor, number 2 in the country. 15-0 this year for O'Connor. National champion in 2021 for UNC, wrestled with a torn ACL last year. Fully healthy, fully operational, and there has been no one that has even come close to slowing him down this year.
Here it is. Ed Scott is not going to back down. He believes in his abilities, and he's going to throw an underhook, and if Austin O'Connor's not ready, Ed Scott will try and throw him.
We talked to O'Connor a few weeks ago before he was getting ready for this 3-week stretch that had Casto of Pitt, wrestler who defeated him last year at Nationals, then Bryce Endonian, and then Ed Scott, who beat O'Connor last year in the ACCs. And he had these 3 weeks circled on his calendar, and he is not disappointed. Did not get a chance to wrestle Casto a couple of weeks ago. He put up the major decision win last week against Andonian, the high flyer. And now a chance for redemption against Ed Scott. We'll get a stalemate 56 seconds in.
Nice counter defense there, but he went right back at it. You see him go right back at it. He's going to get him on his, he's going to try and get on his back. No control. Good flurries here. Good flurries. That first shot that Austin O'Connor shot was from a distance. He needs to close the gap a little more. That's one thing you like about Ed Scott. He's going to keep coming. It doesn't matter if he's down by 1 or down by 10. He's going to keep coming. Watch the little dump action. Stall against O'Connor. I'm not sure I agree with that. I thought it's a natural floor of action. I don't think he was avoiding, but the call is the call.
Ed Scott coming off a really good season last year. He was the ACC champion, went 2-2, earned the number 4 seed. Won his first 2 matches before losing to the eventual runner-up Quincy Monday, 5-3 in the quarterfinal round. Had a good off season of training, and this year Well, you look at it pound for pound, maybe one of the more difficult schedules in ACC wrestling this year. 5 of his 6 losses to ranked opponents. Taking on another one here tonight with O'Connor. No score. Free shot there by O'Connor, trying to get to the outside. Continues to circle, but Scott with the nifty footwork not allowing him to get there.
That was all hustle. I mean, that was all hustle there by Ed Scott to stay square. He needs to try and face his opponent. Tell you what, Austin O'Connor's been one of the hottest guys in the country. And Ed Scott, he's come to wrestle.
Sense the excitement with Austin O'Connor this offseason. He went through not 1 but 2 knee surgeries. Right after Detroit, he had surgery 2 weeks after the tournament, and they had a couple of bumps on the road rehabbing it. He had to have a second surgery because of some scar tissue that was forming. So he had that second surgery late in the spring, early summer, so that put him behind schedule, and that's why he was a late arrival as far as match competition this year for UNC, but he told us he is fully healed, he is healthy, and he is motivated.
And Scott wants to try to stay on his feet. He doesn't want to go down to his knees. We haven't really seen a shot by Ed Scott. He's been holding position. He hasn't stalled, but we haven't seen a leg attack. Ed Scott's got to, again, present himself a little more. He's doing a good job of holding position, but if Austin O'Connor takes another shot like that, he's going to get a stall call. That little half shot kind of keeps the official off your back a little bit. I'm presenting myself, not a real committed shot, but just something to keep the official from saying I'm stalling.
Look up that 2-on-1. O'Connor shakes the arm. Now he covers the head. And we've been here before. Scott turns and faces and avoids trouble. Man, he has faced the barrel a couple of times, and both times he has come away unscathed.
And moments like this, the confidence starts to build for Ed Scott. Not saying he wasn't confident, but we saw go-behinds. We saw snap downs, underhook. And just when you thought Austin O'Connor was going to get a takedown, Ed Scott spins out of it. The confidence is starting to get a little stronger for Ed Scott. And a nice slide by, full body. Short time scoring. That hurts. Hurts Ed Scott. Here it is. Get a front headlock. Just watch him just shuck it by. Throw it just like a bowling ball. Just like you're bowling the ball, just throw it by.
Each 2 at the end of the second period. Scott gets the quick escape, and now a 3-1 lead for Austin O'Connor, trying to stay perfect this year, but in a dogfight with Scott.
Let's not forget, Austin O'Connor has a stall call against him, so he still has to present himself. Austin O'Connor is one of the few people in the country that feels comfortable when he's over the head and his head is underneath as well.
Let's see what O'Connor decides to do. We saw him shuck right before the end of the second period off his position. Thinking things through, and the official will stop it. 1:11 to go. Coleman Scott knows this is one they must get, down 6-0 after losing matches at 41 and 49.
He's going to go for an inside trip there. So, Austin O'Connor, he doesn't need to be here. He wants to be careful here. But this is going into Ed Scott's wheelhouse by going underhook, overhook. This is where he wants to be kind of just aware and pull him down. You're going to see a sprint coming from Ed Scott. He's got to watch. watch it. You gotta watch it. Oh, the shot.
Down.
That's a good shot, but good defense. Also, Connor has to make sure he stays there. Because if he backs out, he can get a stall call against him. Stalemate. Here comes the flurry. Ed Scott's going to come underhook, knee pick, underhook, throw. He's going to just come at him. Once again, we talked about that earlier, Sean. Also, Connor likes his position. Hand over head and his head being underneath. He feels comfortable here. I don't understand why he does feel comfortable, but it's something that he just feels good and he's just going to wear this thing down.
North Carolina is on the board, and it's their leader, Austin O'Connor.
He said he had this match circled. He got the win. Tight win. Short scoring at the end of the period was the difference.
Tomorrow afternoon, the #1 women's lacrosse team in the nation highlights our ACC Network Top 10 matchup. Tar Heels host #7 Florida at Dorrance Field in Chapel Hill. Coverage gets underway at 12 noon Eastern. Austin O'Connor giving this crowd something to cheer about. The program's first national champ since 1995. His 2021 title run, and O'Connor stays perfect here in 23. And look at this throw right out of the gate as we go to 165 from Joey Mazzara.
That's what happens when you push too hard. Joey Vegas threw a nice headlock, but Maddie Singleton just got out of it. No points.
Mazzara, one of the seniors recognized earlier tonight. Brock talked about Las Vegas, Nevada. Bishop Gorman, 12-8 this year. Struggled somewhat in ACC competition, going 1-3 and a near miss right off the whistle by Mazzara.
I mean, you go in too hard, you got to watch your head.
When you look at NC State as a whole, as a team, certainly the stories at 65 and 74 have been key for them. Maddie Singleton, like we have seen him do time and time again this year, able to get the early offense, but the emergence of this freshman from the state of Georgia, and then Alex Faison, who we'll see at 174, two guys who have really stepped up for Popolizio this season.
Popolizio, as a coach, he's not afraid to say whoever the best person is. I don't care if you are a top recruit in any year. If you are not performing, we want to put the best person in to help the team to score points in the postseason. So if it's a true freshman, great. If it's a blue chip freshman that's not performing, they'll put in someone that was a walk-on. Whomever performs is who's going to wrestle for NC State.
Singleton sticks a leg in, 1:41 approaching the halfway point of this first period. Maddie Singleton, the freshman from Moreland, Georgia, with a 2-0 lead. Saw his 7-match winning streak snap last week with the hands of Holden Heller 5-2.
Matt Singleton doing a good job of accumulating riding time, and he's keeping that toe in from any part of the body that stays on the inside of that circle. He's still in control.
Singleton made his 165-pound debut this year for North Carolina State down in the Big Easy in New Orleans. First match at that weight was to Austin Yant of Northern Iowa. Lots of experience with Yant, the Panthers, and Cedar Falls. Lost the Yant 5-2, but you just see him getting more and more comfortable as the season goes deeper and deeper.
Oh, sneakiness right there by the senior to get the reversal. 3-2. Maddie Singleton's first takedown was just a snatch. He didn't have a penetration. He just snatched the right leg of Mazzara. see if we see any action with time winding down in the first period. 20 seconds left. Joey Mazzara has to pick his shots because Matty Singleton is very good at defending shots on his legs. In this reversal, what happens is there's a little space. Soon as Matty Singleton was trying to bring Mazzara back to Matt, Joey Mazzara hit kind of a switch and got behind and got the reversal.
Caution's going to be given to Green. You get a couple of cautions. The third one will be a point for your opponent. So Joey Mazzara trying to get a quick start as we get ready to begin period 2. Second year at 165 for Mazzara. Got thrust into a upper weight situation upon arrival just because of some injuries in the Tar Heel lineup upon arriving on campus. Wrestled 184 actually for UNC at one time. He's taken over the starting spot this year at 65, really since the new year, since we flipped the calendar to 23. Trailing 4-2. 6-3 Wolfpack through the first 3 matches tonight. We started at 41.
Pretty important action call. Pretty important portion of the match. It's 4-2. Matty Singleton has slight advantage with riding time. A takedown by either one changes the dynamic of the match. So if Joey Mazzara hits a takedown, it's 4-2, and perhaps riding time gets under a minute. And certainly if Matty Singleton gets the takedown, he opens it up 6-2, and riding time starts to build. So pretty important stretch with this last minute, 10 seconds left in the second period.
We had a talk with Pat Popolizio earlier this afternoon talking about the immediate future of Matty Singleton. This will be his final date that he can use. He wrestles one more time this year, meaning the postseason, which is coming up next. He would burn that red shirt label, and we asked Popolizio, what's the plan for Matty Singleton? And he said he's going to wrestle tonight, and the two of them will meet this weekend, and he will let Matty decide if he wants to redshirt or if he wants to continue and represent the Wolfpack in the ACC championships and eventually the NCAA.
It's a lot of confidence you have in a freshman, a true freshman, say you make the call. Oh, low shot there. He's got to finish quick with good hits there by Singleton. And he goes right in for a shot. So he's got to keep his hips there to the mat. When I say his hips, Mazzara's got to keep his hips covering the head of Singleton. And you're hearing the encouragement from UNC say, you got to keep it going, Joe. You got to keep it going.
Ear to ear, the two wrestlers smack dab in the center, 18 seconds. Second period, pace has slowed down just a little bit here in this second. Singleton behind his ride in the first period, over a minute of riding time. One last swoop of the hand there. Mazzara trying to find the backside ankle, and a 2-point lead through 2 for Matty Singleton.
Interesting. Mazzara took neutral. He didn't want to go underneath the freshman. You heard NC State. They said a takedown puts this match away. They're telling Matty Singleton, if you get this takedown, it becomes a 4-point lead, and then you also have riding time. Really impressed with the hips of Singleton, and he really gets them back and gets them down.
Trying to get to an underhook. Singleton counters with one of his own. Sorry, trying to circle his way back toward the center of the mat. Singleton not letting him get there.
I'm liking the composure that I'm seeing from Singleton. He's doing just enough. He's not exposing himself too much for the offense of Mazzara, but yet he's doing enough to show that he's offensive. Enough for the headlock again. You saw it? He went right for the headlock again. You see him shake his head on the mat. Say, that wasn't the time to go for it. And Matt Singleton just slipped the headlock.
Singleton in a position where he's really comfortable now. Very good rider. He had a lot of success in the first period off his initial takedown and accumulating the riding time, a 4-point lead. He has Mazzara completely broken down underneath. Play again. Matty Singleton certainly in a position to ride this one home for North Carolina State. It is going to be an interesting conversation this weekend with the Wolfpack coaches and their talented freshman from Moreland, Georgia, Matty Singleton. NC State fans falling in love with him real quickly this year. He has produced. In his inaugural run, a win for NC State. UNC able to get on the board, and they have turned to their big guy. Yeah, he's been flinging those arrows all season long, and they have been hitting the bullseye. Austin O'Connor, a victory for the Guardians.
This is just going to be a little roll action. A little roll action. He's on his back. He's on his back. Can you see this? Hayden Island's on his back. Could it be the first loss in the ACC? He did it. He did it. Holy moly. He did it.
Brock, you were a little excited last year. You look at the situation for Loud. That was senior night for the Wolfpack when he was able to pin Hayden Hidley. It's been a tough year, though, for Clay Loud this season, ranked 12, 6-3, mainly because of a lower leg injury that has slowed him down, limited his matches, taking on Alex Faison, ranked 28th in the country, 14-6 this year, his 5th year at NC State. He really stepped up and performed well, and here comes Clay Loud on senior night, one of the fan favorites. Hard-nosed style of wrestling from Loud, the ACC champion back in 2020. Turning All-American last year, placing 8th as he went into Detroit, seeded 10th. And now let's see what he can do with that big brace on his left leg.
Clay Loud wrestled with a chip on his shoulder. He said he's always been like that. Always felt like he had something to prove. Not a top recruit coming out of Kansas, but he certainly has developed under Coleman Scott's guidance at UNC.
His Kansas Reds grew up, went to St. James Academy, 3-time Kansas State champion. Excellent football player as well, but was always going to be wrestling once he graduated high school.
Faison has quietly gotten better throughout the year. Always shows up to wrestle, doesn't miss duels, stays healthy, and yet he has another All-American, had a good win last week against Luca Augustine, who had just beat Clay Loud the week before.
You really like guys like Faison in the fact that they have stayed loyal to their program and they have just showed patience. Here he is, he's been in the room a long time, waiting for this moment. He's put in the time, and now having a great season. Whispering Pines, North Carolina native, and all that hard work throughout the years. Talked about Hayden Hidley, that's the weight that he's jumping into. 5-time All-American for NC State. Sat behind some really good wrestlers in his time in Raleigh.
You're right about that. You made a fantastic point there, Sean, that just being committed to the program. And it shows that Faison loves wrestling, because this is a hard sport. It's a hard sport that if you're not getting the success that you're used to, if you're not starting, how do you still prepare every week as if you're going to start? Alex Faison has done a good job of sticking with the program and starting to show what he's capable of doing. similar to the match that Faison had last week. There was a lot of hand fighting. Hand fighting means you're staying there and getting the hands off the wrist, trying to control the elbows. And we know that Laut is a little limited on what he can do. So if this might be one of those matches where it's very tight and just a small window for someone to score from a neutral position. Not much action happened in the first period as we wind down and see who has choice.
Final few moments of the first period, scoreless for Faison and the returning All-American for North Carolina, Clay Laut. Laut, unranked, coming out of high school, to become, again, a three-time All-American for UNC, but it's just been tough to get mat time for him this year. This is only his fifth match, a little more than a month and a half.
I love what Coach Hall said from NC State. He told Faison, he said, if you go down, if you get stuck, it's on you. Meaning he's putting the onus on his wrestler to get up. He's challenging him. Love it.
Pulls his way underneath the grip of Laut, gets the point. So a 1-0 lead. Faison, a quick escape, a minute 33, second period. Laut's always been good with his underhooks.
So here's the thing, this match has some implications for seeding in the ACC tournament. Mekhi Lewis had a fall earlier today at the match with UVA, so he's clearly the #1 seed. But after that, it could be some question who's the #2 and who's #3 seed. So this match could go a long way in determining who's there and who may go in the upper bracket as a 4th seed for the ACC tournament. So this is, when you see someone that clearly has an injury in Laut, as Faison, he wants to create angles. You just don't want to just go straight on. You want to get him to move that leg to see how mobile is that left leg. Don't just go straight on. He's got to create some angles. Create angles to see how there's an angle right there. There's an angle right there. Nice double. He moved right and then shot the double to the left. And Laut just couldn't get his hips around.
Two big ones at the end of the period for Faison, to the delight of the traveling crowd from Raleigh.
He did an outside step double and Laut just couldn't get his legs around him. Good job by Faison there. Late period scoring, just like we saw at 157 when Austin O'Connor got the late score here. Similar score, 3-0.
If Laut can get something started underneath, you can see already in an early hole down 9-3, and now he gets caught on his back.
He sat out and he got to the front and pancaked him. That was quickness right there. As soon as you saw Clay Laut sit, what did Faison do? He popped to the front and pancaked him. Opened this matchup just like that. Oh, he's trying to make a statement now. I'm not letting go. So here it is. Laut goes to a sit-out. And what happens? As the sit-out comes, he gets to the front and pancake right there. And gets the 2 swipes. That's just a field position. Once someone sits out and you're going to go for that pancake, you have to go hard. You can't just, I'm going to think about it. You got to get your hips and go for it.
Out trying to go wide base here with the speed as he slowly works his way up, trying to get into a stand-up position. Just not allowing him to get there. There he tries to hit a roll, and look at the determination by Faison, committed to this drive. Very impressive work from Alex Faison, and this is why he comes in ranked in the top 30, having the type of season that he has for Popolizio in this Wolfpack program. 3-1, an ACC duel.
He is now making a statement. He's saying, I'm not going to let Play Loud try to escape. Well, he's going to try to escape, but Faison is saying, I want to keep him down. At this point, we start to understand that Loud is certainly compromised with his injury, and that is not to overshadow the great wrestling that Faison is doing. This is a two-time All-American. Yes, he is injured, but Faison has wrestled smart. Late period scored at the end of the second period, and then back points in the third. This is an impressive wrestling by Faison. Good win last week about Augustine, but that was a redshirt freshman. But having this win against a two-time All-American, ACC champion, against your rival, Alex Faison has wrestled a great job in letting Coach Popolizio, he made the right decision to put him in as a starter. Look at the redness at Chapel Hill. There's a sign that said Reynolds Coliseum West.
Just think of the guys that Faison has wrestled inside the Wolfpack wrestling room over the last several years. The likes of the Bowler brothers, the Heidley brothers, and now this is his year.
Here it is, that sit out, step through, pancake, get the swipe. NC State showing their domination with their rival UNC. Friday night duel, NC State flexing their muscle.
We've hit the halfway point here in Chapel Hill. Friday night duel. Jack scores 6 in the first period. Jumps out early on Lachlan McNeil, a 7-5 win. He really set the tone. O'Connor stays perfect at 57 in our highlighted match. Defensive battle, 3-1. And then we just saw Faison, ranked 28th, take down the two-time All-American Play Loud, 6-1. NC State winners in 4 of the 5 matches tonight. Now we head to 184. Trent Heidley really has his sights set on a national championship this year. NC State with 8 individual national champs in their long history, taking on Carson Tenold, who makes his dual debut tonight, and he draws Heidley. And here comes Carson Tenold out of tiny Gilbertville, Iowa. Don Bosco High School. The Don's a traditional powerhouse in the state of Iowa. They've won 4 consecutive team championships. They have produced a lot of good wrestlers, and now the Tenold brothers, both Carson and his twin Cade, wrestling for UNC. This is a tough way to make your debut, though.
I mean, you tell me. I mean, welcome to D1 wrestling. You're wrestling not just against, one of the top guys in the country, but one of the most physically dominant guys in the nation.
Heidley not wasting any time. Gets the takedown and a 2-0 lead for Trent Heidley. Rock, when you watch Heidley, and this is a 3-time All-American. He was a runner-up a couple of years ago, took 5th last year. He is poised to make a run, try to get back into the national championship match in a loaded weight at 84. Where have you noticed the growth from him this year compared to a season ago?
Well, each year there's going to be improvement, and the improvements that we see may not be as glaring because it's little nuances. It could be mental that we see. There might be some little things he's doing with how he grabs the wrist. We just still see the same Trent Heidley, the underhook. But what I'm noticing more is that the underhook isn't just an underhook. It's an underhook to something. It's an underhook to open up something. And one of the most impressive matches that I saw him was when he wrestled against Hunter Bolin a few weeks ago, and he came back. And that's just mental maturity right there.
9 bonus point wins this year for Hidley, 3-0 against his ECC foes.
So interestingly, we talked about, from a technique standpoint there's a nice sweep single there, finished by Trent Hidley. We talked to Coach Coleman. Scott said, Coach Scott, how do you get out of the underhook? He was so clear. He said, don't get in it. Keep your elbow to your chest. Don't get in it, because once you're in it, it's almost impossible to get out of it. So he was telling his wrestlers, when Hidley's or Arrington or Scott, don't get into the underhook and keep that elbow to your chest. He said he had experience wrestling Iranians, where he said he had to keep his elbow in. And certainly what David Taylor did when he wrestled Yazdani for the Olympic and World Championships, the elbow in the chest. Just don't get into the underhook.
Mentioned Iran and Yazdani, masters of the underhooks in the freestyle world in the International Plaza, that stage of wrestling. As you see Hidley just smooth, gets it on the leg, trip action, 2 more for Hidley in what is a takedown clinic in this first period.
Yes, that was clean, and he finished it high. The higher you get the leg, it makes it a little more difficult for the one defending the shot to keep their balance. And Trent Hidley's doing exactly what we expected him to do in this match against a true freshman.
Take a look at the national scene here at 184. Hidley settled in at 3rd. You have Brooks, Keckeisen of UNI, Marcus Coleman, and then Romero of Ohio State. So he said it's loaded at the top. Keckeisen's had a good year. All 5 of those guys have. Romero getting hot at the right time for the Buckeyes. It's going to be fun when we get to Tulsa.
Oh, yes, I can't wait. 8 mats. Wrestling, fans going crazy. Fans, if you've not been to the NCAA championships, you got to get there. It's one of those events that it's not like anything else. I love it. If you're getting married, your honeymoon should be to the NCAA championships. Well worth it.
Well, there might be some significant others watching that love you, Rock Harrison, but they're saying, I don't know about a honeymoon. I'm with you. We're thinking of...
If they fight against it, they're not a significant other. They're just not significant. Yeah, they're not significant. Trent Hidley just doing Trent Hidley things. And there's not much that Tenno can do. He's a true freshman being outmatched against someone that is extremely intense. Intense in the wrestling room, intense doing matches. And look at him pushing the head down. He's making a statement. Look at that. Once again, he goes to that underhook, throws it by, and then what does he do? He pops the hips and brings him down.
Trent Hidley has been described by Papalizio, the foundation of this team, and they just feed off his energy. He instills confidence with this team. He walks into a practice, maybe it's not a practice that's up to par. The moment Hidley arrives, he just gets everything uplifted. He has that charisma about him where he just brings everybody around him up emotionally to his level where he's always at. Just as a non-stop motor. It's a positive energy. In fact, he's so beloved in Raleigh. When we were talking about this when we were in New Orleans, he has the Hidley hoagie. Rock, you and I, we're always both looking for restaurants when we're on the road, trying to find some local delicacies. I think we need to pay a visit to Mitch's place on Hillsborough Street for the Hidley hoagie.
There we go. Y'all heard it. When fans that are at Raleigh, make sure you all speak to Sean and I as we do our commentary. But please tell us where we want to get some good food. I like hoagies.
So we got turkey, we got melted pepper jack, mayo, lettuce, tomato, and jalapeno jam. I was there all the way up until the jam. Hidley's jamming right now. But you're a little more adventurous on the food side, so I think that has your name written all over. I'm sure he'll throw a couple of slabs of bacon on just for good measure to keep that part of your appetite satisfied.
Bacon is good. Bacon goes with every meal, breakfast, lunch, and dinner, just like water. Trent Howley doing his stuff right here. Looking for a technical fall. Technical fall is when you are leading your opponent by 15 points or more, and it's a match termination, and he's very close to that right now.
Should be the first bonus point win as Hyphy goes around pretty easily without any resistance now. 10-0, 22-8. He'll cut and release. Previous 5 matches, all regular decisions, but Hyphy has ended it early here. He puts up 24. 5 team points with the technical fall. 15 or more on the win there for Hyphy, and NC State just keeps adding on. He has raised the roof in a number of venues across the country and having some fun with the fans that traveled here tonight. ACC Unity Week tips off tomorrow. Here's our ACC Network basketball doubleheader. Pitts on the right side of the bubble atop the ACC standings. They'll get ready to take on Virginia Tech. That's at 5 Eastern. Then Clemson still with some work to do. They are off the bubble. They'll square off against Louisville in the second game. Stretch 1 certainly separating the contenders, and we are in that home stretch. Unity Week tipping off tomorrow right here on the ACC Network.
Interesting matchup. You look and you see Isaac Trumbull being number 8 in the country, and then Max Shaw unranked. These two wrestled before, and Max Shaw had a fantastic start against Trumbull. Put him on his back, and then Trumbull came back with a dominant pin. So Max Shaw can go. He's a fantastic athlete. Got injured a little part in January, or back in December rather. Trying to get his feet under him.
North Carolina split with a couple of 97-pounders. Redshirt freshman Cade Bouch has also been utilized by Coleman Scott. Shaw gets the draw tonight, looking for his first ACC win, 0-2. He's an NCAA qualifier a couple of years ago, missed out last season.
One of the things that we know about Trumbull is that he has very heavy hips. What that means is that if you shoot on him, you have to be able to be aware that he's going to thrust his hips onto the shoulders and the back if you shoot on him. So what does Max Shaw have to do? He has to double up. He just can't go one shot. He's got to create angles and look to finish quickly, getting behind Isaac Trumbull, not shooting straight on. Create angles. Got to get him off his balance a little bit.
Wasn't that match last week with Trumbull and Bonacorsi a fun one to watch? Bonacorsi coming out on top 3-1. Even though 4 points scored, it was highly entertaining.
Extremely entertaining, and one of the things that was even better is there was a situation where there was an illegal hold, and Nino Bonacorsi broke his silence with social media to clear up the air, said he respects Trumbull, respects NC State, and we just gotta love Nino for something like that. Cleared the air, that we're just here to wrestle, no one meant anything malicious.
That was his first social media post all year, as we talked about. He had put that on the side burner this season. Nino Bonacorsi focused, but there was so much post-match talk, he felt it was needed to get that out there, and a classy move by Nino Bonacorsi. No score, first period, 20 seconds to go. Max Shaw.
So here's the question. Everyone knows that Isaac Trumbull is pretty darn good on top. If Max Shaw had the choice, is he going to go underneath or stay neutral? 4, 3, 2, 1. So at this point, it is Max Shaw's choice. Max Shaw says, I'm going to defer, meaning that I will make my choice in the third period. And Isaac Trumbull says, I'm going to take bottom. Max Shaw looks like a wrestler, a little bruise under the eye, has a chipped tooth.
tell it's mid to late February. These guys starting to wear those permanent scars and scrapes and bruises. A lot of matches throughout the year. Trumbull close to slipping his head free and maybe coming around for two, and that's what he does. So Trumbull from underneath gets the reversal and a 2-0 lead.
When Shaw was unable to bump the hips once he locked the cradle, it became more advantageous for Trumbull, and as you said, he just slipped his head out, and now he's on top, and we have to see what Max Shaw has to get out of bottom. One of the things that you're seeing with Isaac Trumbull, he's keeping the pressure forward. Pressure on the shoulders and the hands, leaning forward. Oh, close, out of bounds. So immediately he goes for the cradle, but Isaac Trumbull was able to post, and he just pushed the elbow down and slipped his head out to get the reversal. False start or caution. Get two of those that are freebies. The third one is a point given to your opponent. Good motion by Max Shaw now. He's moving quickly. And that's one of the things that Max Shaw has to continue to do, is just continue to move. Do not let Ivy Trumbull get a position where he can just secure the hips and lace the ankle, western, whatever you want to call it. But once he sits on that ankle, it's very tough for the opponent to get out of that.
This is Trumbull's recipe. This is why he has been so successful, even though he's just a sophomore. Ability to get out from underneath. He's one of the toughest guys to score on, some of the best hits in college wrestling. And then when he gets on top, he can get turns and just tough to get out from underneath of. And that Max Shaw is feeling as he has hit a number of different ways to try to clear the grip. It's a roll there. Trumbull not fooled, has him completely flattened out. Trumbull's never going to be a guy that's going to be super offensive. He's not going to shoot 20 times a match like a Ryan Jack or any of the other high offensive guys on this roster, but that does not mean he doesn't score points. In fact, he leads this team with 10 bonus point victories this year, so he finds other ways to get his offense.
As they're looking at the coach staff says you're going to go. Again, when he said Max Shaw deferred, meaning he wanted a choice in this for the third period. He's going to go bottom. He's going to say, I got to figure this out. And I don't mind this, because next week is a week off. The following week is the ACC Championship. And if you wrestle Isaac Trumbull again, you're going to have to figure out how to get out of bottom. And this time he exploded. You see how he exploded quickly? But he's got to figure this out. So why not go underneath? And he figured it out.
That's the point.
Take a ride at time with it. It's a 3-1 match. I like that coaching decision to make sure that Max went underneath, to figure it out. This is similar to when Trumbull wrestled Andy Smith. You know, it's kind of close. Andy Smith kind of hung in there. You were surprised that Andy Smith for Virginia Tech went underneath, and we were surprised that Shaw went underneath. But at this point, Shaw's in this match.
Shaw with a snap. Riding time lock for Trumbull. Shaw dumps into a low leg attack here. Whizzer applied by Trumbull. Defensive mechanism. Rock what's Shaw need to do to improve the position.
He's got to stand up. He's got to stand up here. He can't. He's got to stand up. This is where Isaac Trumbull is stronger. Now he's going to feel the hips. There's the hips we were talking about. So he got to kind of hold on here and try to hope for a stalemate to get a fresh start. You see just wearing out. Isaac Trumbull in a good position here. And Max Shaw is just trying to hold on here. He's just trying to hold on to get a stalemate. But as long as Isaac Trumbull is moving, the official is not going to call a stalemate. So he's trying to move. No control yet. No control yet. There's nothing yet. The official is saying right there, he's pointing to, he's still got the leg. At some point, the stalemate's got to come up, and it's going to be very advantageous for UNC. But Isaac Trumbull's doing a good job of moving around, moving and moving and moving. And he's just going to stay in position and hold on.
Isaac Trumbull. Man, is he strong. A tower of power, especially in the lower half, and those tree trunks for legs and hips. And Max Shaw felt just how strong he is. Shaw with a good shot, but unable to finish. And Trumbull, your winner by decision, 3-1 at 197. Wolfpack getting bonus points from a usual suspect. Scoring early and often, Trent Hidley. All part of the surge tonight. Sea of Red in Chapel Hill, NC State. Virginia Tech. Earlier tonight, Rock, you don't go upper body with Bryce Indonian.
You don't go upper body without expecting a bad thing to happen. And Jake Keaton went upper body. Bryce Indonian put him on his back, got the ball, and the returning national champion, Makai Lewis, pins Vic Marcelli, shows his Virginia Tech battle of the Commonwealth Cup. Virginia Tech is all over today.
Virginia Tech, in fact, with a 24-3 lead, they have clinched that duel, which means they have clinched at least a share of a title. It's a logjam atop the ACC. Entering tonight, NC State, Virginia Tech, and Pitt, all with identical records. NC State in control here against North Carolina. Virginia Tech has wrapped up their win against Virginia through the first 7 weights. Pitt will take on Duke tomorrow. It's been an interesting run. NC State started the ACC schedule with a loss in Blacksburg, 16-14. Then Pitt knocked off Virginia Tech the following week, and NC State able to take down Pitt last week, 26-9. The Wolfpack winning 7 of the 10 matches. 4 of those wins coming in overtime. Really scrappy duel. Go to heavyweight, and an offensive opportunity here for Brandon Whitman, and he makes the most of it. So Whitman gets the takedown. Something to smile about for the Tar Heel fans. And then a solid mat return on Owen Treffin.
Finished low. Reach for the other ankle, and he's up 2-0. Whitman
this year, 9-13, looking for his first ACC win, 0-3, and he was wrestling a red-hot Owen Treffin. Treffin gets away, 2-1. Talked about all the tight matches last week. 4 overtimes for NC State, one of them at heavyweight. Treffin was able to win in sudden victory over a top 10 opponent, Dayton Pitzer, 3-1, sudden victory win. So Treffin very quietly this year, kind of flying under the radar a little bit. He's 5-0 against ranked opponents.
And ranked number 11th in the country. When you think about so many heavyweights, it's not like you think of Owen Treffin. Oh yeah, Owen Treffin. No one probably thought about it. And Coach Pop Liesel said that after last year, he had such a desire to get better. And clearly you've seen the improvements he's made since last season to now.
One of those main improvements he talked about is conditioning. So much better this year. And he says not so much from the physical conditioning standpoint, meaning that he's not doing a lot of things differently this year with the drill work, but it's just the experience and the confidence that you build behind a season under your belt, and then how you carry your composure into matches. And we've seen that conditioning pay off late, because he has won some tight ones throughout the course of the year. He's been a very good third period wrestler, especially in those matches that go OT, like last week with Pitzer.
Conditioning is not so much not getting tired, it's functioning while you are tired. Everyone gets tired, everyone gets winded, everyone gets worn down. This is a tough sport. But the question is, can you still execute when you're fatigued? Can you still keep your stance? Can you still think when your body wants to shut down? That's what conditioning is. We've seen this often with Whitman is he come out on fire, but then he starts to slow down a little bit. Nice takedown. Chased it down, the high C, fouled the double, and ends the period on top. Third time this match with short period takedowns. So he kept shooting, kept driving, sucked it in, went right to a double, kept her foot in, got the control for a takedown. We've seen this a few times now. Late period scoring. We saw it at 157 for Khan. We saw it at 74 with Faison. We see it right here with Owen Treffin. End of the period scoring.
See if Whitman can get back to his offense. Third year at heavyweight for Brandon Whitman. He bumped up from 197. That's where he started his career at North Carolina.
A reshot, nice reshot there. That's hours upon hours of timing. Beautiful timing there for a reshot. Reshot, Whitman took a shot, defended by Treffin. Treffin immediately was in and finished.
Treffin has always had the offensive skill set, and what he has added the last couple of years benefited from a red shirt earlier on where he added some weight. He arrived a little bit undersized at heavyweight, needed some time to adjust, but he has bulked up, built a solid frame, and see some of the strength here as he sucks Whitman back, and he is going to get the count.
If you watching on film, Treffin does that. He did that with Hunter Katka when he wrestled in the first match of the year. He goes back, a chin back, and kind of lifts his opponent and brings it down. He didn't get back points against Katka, but he got it this time. Watch the film and you'll start to see tendencies.
10 unanswered points by Treffin after Whitman fired the opening blow in this one. And Owen Treffin will take a 10-2 lead into the third period.
So he gets behind, gets hips, and he just gets out of the way. And then he gets the count. Referee is in perfect position to get the swipes. Gets the full allotment of 4.
Like so many of these athletes, Treffin was an outstanding football player in high school. He was a South Carolina state champion. Wrestling family, all 3 of his older brothers put on the singlet. Summerville, South Carolina.
We're seeing that more and more, Sean. Oh, really duck under. That's a heavyweight doing that.
That's the agility of a middle linebacker. That's the position he played, and he was a punishing middle linebacker, but the footwork you just saw by Treffin. He senses blood in the water. Up 8. Bonus point territory again for NC State.
He's still attacking. Still attacking. Another takedown again. And the reason said, well, you touched the floor. No, it was imminent. Meaning that the takedown was pretty much there. It's just a natural fall to be out of bounds. But it's not like the floor was a deterrent. It was going to happen if it was in the center of the mat or the outside.
Been indicating he's going to go optional with the start. Jumps on to the front head. Wants to try to maybe maneuver a couple of more takedowns off his feet here. Feeling it. Comes in at Whitman. Whitman backs out of the way. Now Treffin right back at it. Hops on the leg. Has it elevated. And down goes the big heavyweight for UNC. Cut and release. Treffin chasing the bonus points. They have enough time up 10, get into that technical fall area. Doesn't look like he will. He was going after it. You love to see the late push with this match well in hand, continuing to stick to his offense. And that is going to be it. With riding time, it is a major decision for Owen Treffin. His 11th bonus point win this year. A major decision, 14 points, and NC State with a 24-3 lead. Here's next Thursday night's women's basketball doubleheader. Haley Cavender leads Miami against Haley Van Lith in Louisville. That all tips at 6 Eastern. Then Kara Lawson, number 9 Duke, hosts Diamond Johnson, NC State. Should be another great night of women's basketball right here on ACC Network and ESPN app. We go from the biggest weight class down to the smallest. 125 pounds, and NC State will not send out Jared Trombley. They will go with Troy Holman, the freshman. Jack Wagner, the transfer from UNI, out there for North Carolina, grew up in Bettendorf, Iowa. Won 3 state championships for Bettendorf.
Similar to what we saw at 184, where you have a freshman versus an experienced wrestler. And we have Wagner in his 7th year against a freshman Holman. Sweep single there. He's going to try and climb up the leg and gets the takedown. When talking to Wagner today, very articulate young man. Understands, where he's improved upon, knows his weaknesses, and knows where he's getting better.
We talked about the decision to transfer last year. Right around the Midlands tournament, he suffered an injury, staph and a knee, so that cost him about 5 to 6 months. He was away from the sport. Just did not want to go out that way, so it looked like initially he was going to go to Oklahoma, committed to the Sooners really early. Then he thought about it, reached out by North Carolina. Tony Ramos, the assistant coach, had known Wagner for a number of years. Wagner grew up watching Ramos from his days at the University of Iowa. So he was found a home in Chapel Hill, and he's had a good season, a resurgence for Jack Wagner. Into a waterfall position here, and we get a stalemate exactly halfway through the first period. You asked him, Rock, why North Carolina? Told you it was Oklahoma, and he mentioned a couple of key factors. Says you look at UNC coaching staff with Scott and Ramos, 2 of the best lightweight coaches in the country. He was very impressed with what they did with Keyshawn Clark last year. Remember, Clark was a drop down in a weight all the way into the national finals. So a couple of factors, and he made the decision to go to UNC. Good scramble here near the edge.
That was a good scramble. Here it is in his position right here. Here's the trip, but right when a trip, Holman goes and tucks his head and rolls through and gets the escape. Holman's doing a good job to present himself. He just got to defend the shot to his right leg. Go right back to that right leg again. So, interesting, we're seeing a diversification of offense here by Wagner. Wagner was able to attack the left side against Colton Camacho a few weeks ago with Pitt, and he was attacking the left leg. But now we're seeing the look at the little scramble acting by the freshman, though. Short time, and that's the end of the period.
Tony Ramos has worked very closely with Jack Wagner. In fact, take a look at this shot. Jack on the left, Lackland on the right, smack dab in the center with the Hawkeye sweatpants, Tony Ramos. Relationship goes way back. Wagner and McNeil, both of those wrestlers, talked about watching Tony in his great career, first with the Hawkeyes, a three-time All-American, winning the NCAA title in 2014, and then continuing his success with international wrestling. And Ramos has been instrumental with a lot of the improvement that we've seen from Wagner, including the mental approach to the sport. That was something that Jack Wagner just beamed about with UNC coaches that brought in that area. And you brought up his match with Camacho a couple of weeks ago where things did not go his way early, and Wagner stayed in it, mentally dialed in. Ended up with a key win for the Tar Heels as he gets two more and a 6-3 lead.
Going back to diversification, the first two takedowns he had was to the right leg. That time he went to a lefty high C and then finished it with a double, keeping the freshman off balance. And while he's also accumulating riding time. So we talk about shooting to the left leg, but this time he went to a high C and then ended up going to a double, meaning two legs, as opposed to grabbing one and gets the control. Allman needs to continue to work and get out, and he's still in this match. Just got the riding time at 1 minute exactly, 6-4. So what's happened with Holman, he's now kind of found out the speed of Wagner, the timing, and he should be able to slow it down just a little bit. And Wagner just got to keep the action going. Just gets moving, trying to move from one side to the other. Yeah, I think you just keep the wrestling. You know, you don't want to just show up the official. When I say show up the official, you see when he's on there, you start to point to the official saying, come on. You do that to an official, the official is not going to get on your side. They're not going to make the call because you told them to make the call.
Wagner with the lead as we move into the third period. A lot of questions concerning Jacob Camacho. He suffered a knee injury earlier this summer. He has been out, had surgery. His surgically repaired knee is healed. He was given a clearance earlier this week. We talked to Pat Papalizio, and we're told today that they will redshirt Camacho, so he will have 2 years of eligibility. He will continue to heal and get ready for next season. And the reason for that decision, probably the emergence of Jared Trombley, who led into the ACCs as the top seed. Holman gets poked in the eye. Trombley 4-0, even though he's not in the lineup tonight. Trombley has really stepped up, dropping down a weight into the 25 class. So Camacho, who has been training with the team over the last month and a half, able to completely heal. No rush on his return, and we will see him next year.
Oh, good shot there. Holman's still attacking. I like the fact that he's not just going to let this happen. The quickness of Wagner, but no control. Nothing yet. Out of bounds, stalling against red, meaning that he avoided action by going out of bounds. So that's a stall call against NC State.
With the snap, Holman looking for some offense here, trying to find a leg. Wagner buries the head. And snaps down, tries to get to the outside, nothing there. Holman back up to his feet, tries to hit that duck, but Wagner is right there with him. Again, brings him right back down to his knees.
That little duck that you said right there, it was just to avoid being pushed out. So the natural flow of action, so the referee said that's an action call, meaning that it was just a natural flow of the match. I like that little thing that Jack Wagner does. He goes to one side, immediately goes to the other side, trying to do a super duck here. He's still working here. Senior night for Jack Wagner. Jack Wagner gets another win for UNC. Jack Wagner with a nice win for UNC to get them 2 matches with 1 more to go. UNC, NC State dominated.
Right now, there's 2. By tomorrow, there could be 3. All 3 sharing the ACC dual meet title. NC State has clinched a share of it with their performance tonight. Virginia Tech at home in Blacksburg, routing Virginia. And then tomorrow, Pitt will try to do the same against a very young Duke team. So, Rock, when it's all said and done, the regular season portion of the schedule, the Panthers, the Hokies, and the Wolfpack all tied. And now all roads will lead to Reynolds Coliseum in a couple of weeks in Raleigh to really settle it. NC State 4 straight ACC championships. What do you think? Will it be 5 this year for the Wolfpack?
Certainly they'll have the home advantage by being at Reynolds Coliseum, and you can see with the following that NC State has at Chapel Hill. Their fans, they're voracious, and I believe that they will have the inside track because they have a lot to prove. But hey, Virginia Tech, they have something to say as well.
Our final match of the night, 133, Kyle Rini, NC State, redshirt sophomore, ranked 18, comes in a mark of 11-4, taking on Jace Palmer, redshirt freshman from Casper, Wyoming.
Right in on a single is Kyle Rini. Kyle Rini is good on top, and he has some good cradles as well. Palmer has just gotten better throughout the year. It's just gotten much, much better. Wrestled a tough schedule and competed. Palmer's doing a good job of keeping that whizzer there. But Rini gets the takedown.
One thing about Kyle Rini, last year he did it, and this year he is doing it. He is a guy that just seems to peak at the right time. Still being a very young wrestler, he certainly improved throughout the course of the season last year. He was an NCAA qualifier. He won a couple of matches in Detroit, coming off a huge top 10 win last week over Philippi of Pitt. Seems to be following a similar path once again here in 23.
And if he wins this match and Tona wins his match and Philippi wins his match, each of them will have 1 loss in the conference, and there'll be an argument to see who's the #1 seed. And generally when they have tied records, they go to the national rankings. Good shot there by Palmer. Palmer has some length to him as well. He's got to work his way up. The official stopped it because it says potentially dangerous. Looked like that right knee was going against the natural range of motion of the knee. So the official says that's potentially dangerous. Nothing illegal, just looks bad. Irene has back to that single again. And Palmer has the whizzer. Palmer's keeping a good job of balance. There's that pull we talked about. Patience again, same scenario. Palmer doing a good job. He's got to continue to face him. He can't just go out. He's got to face him. He doesn't want to turn his back. So as long as he's here, he's in a good position. He doesn't want to turn his back towards the wrestler and look for you out of bounds. Good shin whizzer. Good job there by Palmer. Always hustling.
Ace Palmer won 4 state championships in Wyoming, one of 24 wrestlers in the history of Wyoming high school wrestling to win 4 state titles. First Casper wrestler to win 4 crowns, and now he tries to get to his offense. Whizzer applied by Orini. So the roles reversed here late in the first period.
As we said before, Palmer's going to present himself. He's going to continue to wrestle hard.
2-1, Kyle Orini after 1 period. Rock, I know we both enjoy going back and watching matches, and when you watched Orini and Philippi last week, he really wrestled a strategic match, and he showed the ability to ride, not just in regulation, but also in the tiebreaker period. He was able to get the riding point late to force the overtime. It went to the 2 tiebreakers. Orini was able to ride out the full 30 seconds, and when you do that, you have the option of choosing neutral, and that's what he did with Philip. Smart decision.
Absolutely.
Quick escape here. Orini trying to shoot from a long range.
I'm looking at the build of Palmer, and I just don't see him being at 33 for his entire career. Now, I could be wrong, but just looking at him. Palmer's got to get his head on the inside, meaning that he wants where Orini's head is, that's where Palmer wants his head. Ooh, nice! But look at this. Oh, they're going to question this. There goes the action. He did a little lateral drop there. He went overhook and went underhook. Control was not established, so there's no takedown. Good balance by Orini there. He said it. Palmer is going to present himself. Little action. The cement mixer. Yes, cement mixer.
He up 5-1, has the arm. Works the ball. They're trying to get a turn. Palmer going to get his belly down, and there's the tilt, just the one swipe though. Good job by Palmer to get back to his base, and now Barry Wade is going to stop it for potentially dangerous.
A little bit potentially dangerous right there. Maybe the armbar, instead of going across the back, may have gone towards the shoulder. Wasn't able to see it.
Palmer trying to hit a switch here late in the second period. Orini looking over at the corner. We talked about his ability to ride last week, key in his win. To finish out these final 8 seconds. Palmer elects to do. Orini trapping and allowing Palmer any type of momentum. And we go to the third. Kai Orini by 4. Take a listen to these sounds. The power from Orini.
He had an underhook and then over the top and pulled him through. Cement extraction.
4th year in Raleigh for Orini. 2nd year in the lineup. Redshirted in 2020. Went 6-1, wrestling extra matches in 21. Then busted into the lineup. And now he busts out a cradle.
We mentioned that earlier, that Orini's good with his cradles. Nice camera angle here. Look to try and end this match with a bonus point victory. Riding time is almost secured. you said before, Rooney had what's called wiry strength. And was able to get the cradle locked up, get the full allotment, 4 seconds on the back, and gets 4 points. Opened it up to start period.
Really separated himself from Palmer over 2 minutes of riding time. Has that secured 9-1. NC State closing out this duel with an exclamation point. And for North Carolina, you start thinking big picture a little bit for Coleman Scott over the next couple of weeks. They still have a couple of weights they just simply need to heal up if possible. Lout, Sherman, both still very obvious dealing with injury. Sherman not in the lineup again tonight. Lout, not the typical play Lout that we enjoyed watching just because of the leg situation for him. So we'll see if they can mend up and put it all together for the championship run, which starts in a couple of weeks in Raleigh.
One little thing that I like what I'm seeing from Palmer is that he always hustles back to the middle. No matter what's going on, he's going to beat his opponent back to the middle and continue to wrestle hard. Always something to learn from a match. And you can see the Wolfpack fans making their statement. Wolfpack, they're getting ready for Reynolds in the ACC Championship.
10-1 your final, Arini. NC State 28-6 over North Carolina. And both the Wolfpack and the Hokies right now sharing the regular season title. Pitt will try to jump into that pack tomorrow. And Rock, your thoughts as we close out tonight at Chapel Hill with this NC State team. Certainly it looks like peaking at the right time.
I love it. I love the fact that it's parity in the ACC. Virginia Tech wins tonight. UNC didn't do what they wanted to, but NC State looked great tonight. And tomorrow, Pitt is heavily favored against Duke, just lining up for a couple weeks for the ACC Championships. Boy, is it going to be good and rocking in Reynolds.
We'll both be there on site. Can't wait for it as the postseason is around the corner here for the ACC wrestling season. Reynolds Coliseum West, that certainly was the case tonight. NC State rolled over UNC. For Rock Harrison, this is Sean Kinney saying so long from Chapel Hill. This has been a presentation of ESPN Ball Mid on Campus. Coming up next, NC State over UNC 28-6. Good night from Chapel Hill.